Hey everybody, this is Connie with the Artisan Company. Welcome back to the channel. Well, you know what? I have been waiting to use this stone specifically for Mother's Day. What we are using today is a stone called Thulite. That's Thulite. And this stone was originally sourced when it was first found was in Norway. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful pink stone, and it has such a variance of color. I'll show you. They have since then found this stone in other countries in a little small deposit here in the United States, but the original stone comes from Norway, so I call it the Norwegian stone. Most of the deposits are in Norway. So let's look at what's on the desk and we'll get started. All right, so this project is very, very simple. You can use any pink stone that you want to use, but this stone is just a stunning stone. I'm going to let Ken kind of zoom down on this, but you can see right here, there is a gradient of colors in here. Oh my gosh. And look at these right here. Let me show you this even. I've got these to do a different kind of necklace with later on, but look at the color on these. Oh my gosh, this is all thulite stone. And look, look, look. I mean, you can't get the gradient color is just eye-popping. I don't know if it shows up on the camera like it is on my desk, but this stone is stunning. These are going to be used in a different necklace, so I'll put them to the side. But I'm going to use these 8mm rounds today, and I got these from Tejas Beads, and they're just beautiful. The other stones that I had on here I got from Stones and Silver, but these came from Teja Beads, and I'm telling you what, they are beautiful. I've separated out my left and right here. And then you're going to need an 11.0 seed bead of your color of your choice. I'm choosing gold today, which is kind of unusual for me. Gold is on a comeback, which is really fun because there's so many different colors of gold. But this little seed bead I got at Fire Mountain, and it is a stunning color of gold. It's not that yellow gold. It's more has more of a little undertone of copper to it. And the reason why I'm going with the gold is because the undertone in this, when you start looking very closely at some of these beads, there's a little hint of brown in there, kind of a red, brown, reddish, pinkish brown color. And it's not so much that it just stands out at you, but it's just kind of blended so well in the stone that your eye sees it, but you don't see the individual pops of brown in it like you do in other stones. It's just such a blend with this particular stone. So I'm using 11.0 seed bead. I've got two finishing beads in gold, and then I've got my crimp color covers, and I'm using this beautiful hammered S clasp as my finish, and I got this at Michael's, this right here. These I believe I got at Fire Mountain, and the crimps and crimp covers Fire Mountain. This was Fire Mountain. Okay. And then you'll need some medium AccuFlex or Soft Flex medium 49 strand beading wire. Okay. I'm going to make this roughly a 17-inch. That way it will fit a myriad of people's sizes. So, okay, let's get started. All right, guys, this necklace is another one that's so easy. You can do it with your eyes closed, but it is the color choices that you're choosing. I'm trying to make this very, very simple. We're going to do a very simple pair of earrings to go with it, but sometimes less is more. And with this particular stone, the stone is so stunning in itself. I didn't want to do a lot of stuff to take away from it. So there we go. So I'm basically just going to be alternating the stone and a gold seed bead, stone and a gold seed bead all the way up. I'm not even going to be using bead caps. I know, that's hard to believe, isn't it? But anyway, you can use bead caps if you want to enhance the light that's coming into your piece of jewelry. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can use a little bit of light if you want a 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter bead cap, or a lot of light, 6 millimeter bead cap. Those are choices for you. But for me today, I'm going to make this very, very plain, very simple. All right, so I'm just going to start stringing, and we'll string a few here. Nothing difficult. You can see right here, I'm just tooling along, trying to stay in the camera. Sometimes I realize, oh, I'm at the top of the camera. But anyway, Mother's Day is coming up, and you know, our mamas are special. My mom's been gone now about 3 years, maybe. But I do think of her often, and she was a barrel of monkeys. She was almost 99 when she went to heaven, and I'm sure we were all raised on a farm in West Tennessee, and I am sure that my mama's up there telling everybody how to run their farms. she uh she was a go-getter, never let any grass grow under her feet at all, and just a beautiful woman. She loved people, and she loved people, and she loved animals, particularly cats. Maybe that's where I get it. Um, but I sure miss my mama, I'll tell you. So Lover Do, I called her Lover Do. And so Lover Do, if you were still in this earthly plane today, this would be a beautiful necklace for you. Okay, so if your mamas are still living, make sure you go and see them or call them, do something to let them know that you're thinking about them. If they're not still living, uh, just blessings on you and the time you did have with her. So, all right. So let's look at this real quick. Here's where we're going. And this is just so simple. It just nothing overpowering this stone at all. And that's exactly what I wanted. And I'm telling you, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. And the golds, you can see now, the golds are pulling out the browns in there. You can see the color showing through now. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, y'all, this stone is just like, what? So exciting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish beading this side, and I'm also going to bead the left side. And I'll do mine, you do yours, and then we'll get back together. Okay, let's look at where we are. I went ahead and beaded both sides. And you know me, I sorted out my beads at the beginning, so I didn't do that, take the time to do that on the video. But you can see how the darker color right here is in the front, and then we go lighter and then back into dark, and it comes up. Is this not just so stunning? I'm so excited. Look at this. The weight of these beads feels amazing. Look how beautiful that is. Simple, simple, simple elegance. All right, let's get this clasp on, and then we'll move to the earrings. All right, I got one side of the clasp on. We're going to do the other side. I'm trying to expedite time here because I got to get to the earrings. So anyway, I'm taking my necklace and I've got one side on. I'm shaking it to make sure all the beads are down. There's no gaps in here anywhere. And make sure you check your work, because with these little seed beads, like I always say, It's easy to leave one out, but I shook it down, make sure there's no space left. All right, and then I'm coming back, but it's still fluid. You can see it still moves. That's the point. Put the crimp on, clasp, run the thread back through the crimp. We do this every time. It's the same process. And you know, there's a myriad of ways you can finish off a necklace. So this is not the only way. There are tons of ways to do necklaces, and it's just a matter of picking the one that you like and what works for you or what you think looks best with that particular design. Um, I tend to do a little more classic kind of stuff, but occasionally I get some crazy boho idea. But anyway, um, make sure you leave enough room there for the clasp to breathe. Don't want it screaming at you. All right, now you're going to crimp that thing down and fold the crimp again. It does this every time I'm on camera. And when I'm not on camera, it just does what its behavior is supposed to be. Okay, and then I'm going to run this little bit back through right here. Through these top two beads right here. Come on down in there, baby. Whoops. Missed my bead cap. There it goes. All right, just be patient with this. It's not difficult. You just have to be patient with it. All right, and there it is. We'll pull it out gently. Okay, so that's all done. I'm going to clip the excess right here. Goes. Okay, and then the last thing is putting this lovely little crimp cover on. It looks like a little Pac-Man. And the key to these is closing them up very slowly. Don't get it too fast. And make sure that your wire is down inside the crimp cover. Make sure it's not sticking up. Very, very slowly. And there it is. Wow, that went right on there just like clockwork. Run your finger across it to make sure you don't have any rough edges right there. Okay. Wow. Love this. Oh, guys, look how beautiful this necklace is. If someone gave me this for Mother's Day, I'd be thrilled. Anyway, oh, beautiful stone. Okay, so let's get to the earrings real quick. Okay, so here's where we're going. You remember the video where I showed you the little bead finds I had a week or two ago, and I bought some threading ear wires, the little threads like this that hang like that. I'm sure you can see that. Okay. We're going to use those today. All right, so you need two of these. And I got these at Cherry Tree Beads, is where I got these little wires. All right, I picked out two of the darker stones from my strand of Thulite that I had. And this is where we're going, just so you can see here. This is where we're going to go with the design. You can see I've got the one little piece of Thulite on the bottom right there. Is that not fun? Oh my goodness. Very unobtrusive little pop of light right there on your ear. Okay, so what I did was I pulled out two of the Thulite stones, and because you have to run the thread down through the hole here, you've got to make sure your hole is big enough to run that thread. So what I had to do was I took a really fine bead reamer, really fine one to start out with, and I just reamed that bead like that very gently, not real hard, just very, very gently. And I turned it and slid it, just turned it and slid it like that. Okay, I did the smallest one tip first. Then I went to the next one, and the next size up reamer, and I gently put the bead on there. Now don't do it tight, because if you do it tight, you're going to crack your bead because of the friction produces heat inside there. And so you're not, if you jam it on there and you ring really hard, more than likely, whether it's glass or a stone, more than likely you will break it. So you have to do it very gently and softly and just with a little tiny pressure of pushing it into the reamer, but ever, ever so lightly. Okay. A little bit at a time like that. Then you'll turn the bead a little bit at a time, just a little tiny, tiny bit. So I did that one for a little bit and I blew it out. Okay. And then I went to the next size up reamer, because this is the one that's going to make sure that your thread on your chain goes through the hole, because you've got inside beads, the holes are sometimes rough inside, and so this is not only widening the hole, it's also smoothing out the hole on the inside. So I just, same technique, just a little tiny bit of pressure, not a lot, and just turn your reamer, change sides. Because if you're not careful, if you don't switch it, you'll get one side bigger than the other, and that's not what we want. And so I just barely turn it and barely put pressure on it, because you'll see it sliding up the reamer as you ream out some of the stone. You'll see it, the movement on it, because there's powder. All right, I got my hole drilled. Next step. Okay, so I've got that drilled out. Now I like to finish my beads. I like my beads to have a finishing edge on it. Um, so that's why I added a little bead cap to this right here. You can see it on the end right there. There's the loop that's on the end of the thread. Um, but I added a little bead cap on the end because I just felt like it needed it. All right, and here's another idea for you too. If you'll notice right here on the end of this thread, there's a little loop right there. You can actually add another bead onto it if you want to. I decided to leave that loop as a decorative thing instead. So anyway, but this loop is meant for beads to hang off of. So you can add another bead to this if you want to, like a little piece of crystal or something like that. But for me, I'm leaving it fairly plain. So I'm going to take, this is a 6mm bead cap. I'm going to slide it over the thread, let it slide down like that to the end. Then you're going to put your bead on and it will slide down like this. And then I'm going to take just a dot of some kind of jeweler's glue, whether it's this hypo cement, GS hypo cement, or you can do, don't do super glue though. Do not do super glue. That will be a bad thing. Because it will change, it can change the color of your stone and also the metals. So, all right, but we got just a little drop of glue right there. This is why I wear an apron, so you can wipe your hands off. All right, and then we're going to put one more little tiny dot right there on the top. Wipe off the excess. And then we're going to thread the other bead cap on. All right. That way everything will stay on, nothing will slide off. All right, so I've got it down on there like so. Yep, that's perfect. All right, so we're going to let it push down a little bit and we're going to let it dry. And you can see this is what it's looking like right here. Isn't that fun? Oh my gosh. We'll let it dry and we'll be back. All right, the earrings are dry, so we are done. And oh my goodness, look at this beautiful set for Mother's Day. If you have any kind of pink stones, rhodonite, anything like that, you can get this same exact look. Acrylic beads, glass beads, it doesn't matter. You can do this exact same thing with your mom's favorite color, whether it's yellow, whether it's green, purple, doesn't matter. These are just 8 millimeter stones. This is Thulite stone. I mixed it with a gold to bring out the browns. I put a beautiful gold clasp on, and then I did the ear thread ear wires with just one little piece of Thulite on there. And oh my goodness, this is stunning. It just makes such a beautiful statement. Okay, so we're done with this project. Hopefully, you got some inspiration today. If you liked anything, please comment, like, subscribe. It doesn't matter. Just let me know what you think, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.